Hey guys, it's Pete Vargas, and I'm telling you, you are in for a treat today. You are in for a treat today. And I want you all to know that I cannot wait tomorrow. I'm hoping to give another major name that I'm trying to finalize and confirm today that has built one of the most incredible platforms in the for-profit and nonprofit space, who I'm hoping to confirm by the end of today for the platform tour. And so I'm so excited because this is going across all of our groups today, but it's also going in our guests' YouTube channel today, which we're going to talk to her here in just a second. Today, I feel like it's really going to set the foundation for everything we're doing within the platform tour. Today, it's going to give you the foundation, it's going to give you the vision, and it's going to allow you to see the possibility through another person who was sitting in your shoes a year ago, and many of your shoes a year ago, making a decision like, how am I going to build my platform? And so today's guest inspired me and motivated me and excited me a couple of weeks ago as we were at a mastermind together. So we've only known each other for a couple of weeks. And if you know me, you know that people don't come on my stage or my platforms easily. And who we help put on stages, we don't do that easily. But it was instant about the heart behind this person. And I'm so excited here in just a couple of minutes to share her story with you, a story of being in a full-time job and doing something that I'm sure she loved, but also felt like there was bigger purpose and bigger passion for her life. Like, how many of you feel like there's something bigger out there for you? Maybe you're getting started. Maybe you already have a successful business. Maybe you're scaling, but you know that there's something bigger in the next year. If you actually believe that there's something bigger, no matter where you're watching this on IG, Facebook, YouTube, like we've got thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of people that will be seeing this. Like, if you believe that there's something bigger, just state that. Well, she felt that. And just a little bit over a year ago, during a very difficult year that many would say is tough to build a platform, she built the platform and took it from 0 to 7 figures. I actually shot a video with one of her mentors who was a part of helping mentor her in that process, because I was so inspired by her story. I had never shot him a video from anybody else outside of me. And I was like, I want you to be encouraged because you were a part of helping her build her platform this last year. And she's going to come and pull back the curtain on 5 or 6 things that she was able to do to build her platform that will serve every single one of you. And oh, by the way, she believes that she can go from 0 to 7 figures in year 1, from 7 to 8 figures in year 2. I can count on one hand people who have been able to do that, like maybe a couple hands, maybe 2 hands. But I actually believe she can, because of her being exposed to what many of you are going to be exposed to next week. Next week kicks off the platform tour. And for all of you in Rebecca Zung's group on YouTube, I'm so honored to have you today. She wanted you to get to hear this today because the importance that she has meant to you in helping you overcome a problem in your life, she actually believes, and I actually believe, that you too can be a solution with your message to other people's problems that they face in their life from your past life experience. And the only way that we can get out into the world and solve the world's problems is if we understand how to build a platform. And a platform right now are being controlled by the wrong people. They're being controlled by people who are all about egos and all about likes and all about me. They're being controlled by people who are negative, fear-based, dissension. And what we need is more Rebeccas in the world. We need more Rebeccas in the world. We need more of Rebecca's community in the world controlling the microphone. But the only way that you control the microphone is if you know how to build your platform. Actually, step by step, understanding how to build your platform. And when you build your platform, you control the microphone. And now we have inspiring, positive, life-changing, business-changing mindset changing, money changing, whatever your message is, changing messages out in the world that are making a difference in the lives of other people. So everybody here today is going to be very foundational for the rest of our time together. I know we started a week early and officially things kick off on the 11th, but the buzz is already high. And I'm telling you, after you hear today, the buzz will be at an all-time high because you're going to see the possibility. You're going to see the framework that is needed to build your platform. And you're going to hear a powerful story and see the possibility of what's possible one short year from now. One short year from now. And I'm going to advocate that many of you will see the possibility of what's possible in a quarter from now, like 3 months from now, to kick off your new year strong instead of starting from scratch or starting from where you're at today. And so my name is Pete Vargas. I am the host of the Platform Tour. We are so stoked to have the likes of Floyd Mayweather, Sarah Blakely, Jesse Itzler, Rebecca Zung, Damon John. We just confirmed today Bethany Hamilton, who, if you've seen the movie of her arm was bitten off by a shark. She has a powerful movie and she's built an incredible platform. We have people like Stormy Wellington, and I could go on and on. 40 speakers that I have brought together around helping you understand. They're going to talk about the one thing. Today, Rebecca's going to talk about a handful of things, but she's got a little bit more leverage than them just because of us being together a couple of weeks ago. But they're going to talk about the one thing that allowed them to build their platform. And you take those 40 speakers over the course of 7 days, every week, next week from 2 to 4 p.m., you take that toolbox of 40 tools, and we're going to make sure that you get clear on 5 of them. We want you to have the toolbox of the 40, but we want you to be focused on 5 or 6. And those 5 or 6 is what's going to allow you to build your platform, build your business, get your message out to the world, make a greater impact and greater income than you have ever believed was possible. And next week, that's what's happening. And it's kicking off this week. And today, I believe, is an incredibly foundational training. And so for all of you that are in Rebecca's group right now, all of you watching this live or the replay, I'm stoked to have you. Go, you can register and completely sign up for this. Join RebeccaZung.com. Join RebeccaZung.com. For all of you in her group, go to that page because we're going to do some special things for the people that are in her community and her group. For all of you that are watching on any of my channels right now, or you're in one of our groups right now and you have not registered, you need to go register at theplatformtour.com. Now, remember, I gave Rebecca's community one and ours another just because it helps us distinguish who is part of the communities. And I'm so honored to have her community with us today. And her community and my community are going to get to hear a profound and powerful story today around somebody who is going to help you see the possibility that exists. So really want to encourage that. Next week, these speakers would cost several $1 million. The speakers that are coming this week and next week would cost several $1 million to have in one room, which means I would then have to charge tens of thousands of dollars to you just to cover the cost of them. But I've compiled them together 2 hours a day, every day, to be able to bring to you the same insight that they would bring to us if we were all in a room together. And so take advantage of this. And remember, 100% of the profits, if you choose to upgrade to VIP or upgrade to be backstage virtually with the speakers every day, if you choose to do any of that, 100% of the profits go back to charity. We gave $750,000 away last year, and our goal is to give away $1 million this year. So what's going to be happening next week and what's going to be happening today? This is the first time I'm setting this foundation. In order to build a platform, this down here is the most important thing. This is the most important thing down here. But there are 7 pillars. So if this is the foundation, to your platform. This is the foundation. And there's 7 pillars that you have got to understand, 6 pillars that you've got to understand in order to build your platform. If these 6 don't exist, your platform and your business can either come crumbling down, or you will see it stall and wonder, why am I not growing? For anybody that's not seeing growth or might not seem like sustainability, it's probably because you are finding yourself in one of these buckets, one of these pillars that is missing. So what are these pillars? The first pillar that you have to have is clarity on the problem you solve and who you want to serve. The second thing that you have to understand is how to communicate and connect with your people. The best in the world understand how to communicate and connect. The third thing that you want to be able to have are products and services that people can invest in. These are the pillars of creating a great platform. There's a lot of people out there that might talk about one thing. One thing is not going to allow you to build a platform that you desire, and it won't be sustainable. You want to be able to be great in all 6 of these. The fourth thing is that you've got to have stages, your own stages, what I call, or I say, other people's stages. If you don't have eyeballs, it doesn't matter. Like, we want you to be in front of people. Not as a professional speaker, but where when you communicate, there's people that are listening to you. The fifth thing that you have to have is sales and marketing strategies. This is one of the biggest reasons why people don't grow their platform. And the sixth thing that you have to have is scale. And a lot of that comes down to people. Other people. You want to go fast? Go alone. You want to go far? Go with other people. You got to have a team. You got to have strategic partnerships. You've got to have mentors. They shorten the learning curve for you. These are the pillars that next week, all 40 speakers will speak into their specialty within one of these 6 pillars. Next week, you will have 5 or 6 strategies here, 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 and here. What's the foundation? The foundation is what matters the most. You. Taking care of you. How do you grow personally, spiritually? How do you make sure that you're healthy? How do you make sure that you understand what it takes to be productive? How do you make sure that you don't have your relationships being abandoned and the business being the entire driver's seat of your life? I've been there. I've done that. My wife told me this week, you have the largest event of your life coming up, one of the largest events of your life coming up, and you're still out riding 18-mile bike rides with the family, playing pickleball, hanging with the kids, jumping on the trampoline. Like, that didn't exist a couple of years. It didn't exist a couple of years because I wasn't focused on me with the oxygen max, taking care of me. If my health, if my mind, if my relationships, if my productivity, if me is not taken care of, the foundation will be cracked. So guess what? We will tackle all of these next week, and it will be the biggest, most thorough, comprehensive training that you've ever experienced in any event in 2022, 2021. Probably in 2022 as well. But I promise you, we will also be dedicating one day, our bonus day, which is October 18th, just to you, your productivity, your mindset, your health, your confidence, your brain, your excuses. And so this is what comprises you building your platform and what today and all of the next week is all about. So if you have not registered, for everybody in YouTube that's watching, go to joinrebeccazung.com right now, register. It's free. And if you choose to upgrade the VIP and backstage, I think it's $67. You get access to the lifetime recordings. You get to be backstage with these speakers every single day. Great. It's all going to all of the profits are going to charity. And for everybody else, if you haven't registered, make sure to register at theplatformtour.com. But today, I'm so excited about this story because I asked her something. I said, Rebecca, what are the 5 to 10 things that have allowed you to go from 0 to 7 figures? Guys, you're going to be blown away. I mean, her YouTube channel, her content, like one of my dream stages, I've been in business for 5 years. One of my dream stages is Ed Milet's podcast. And all of a sudden I'm sitting with her and she's on Ed Milet's podcast. Like, he's very careful with who he allows to share on his platform. And as I heard her story and as I heard everything that she was about at this mastermind, and Joel, my buddy's like, you've got to connect with her because you can help her take her platform to a different level. You can help her go from 7 to 8 figures. And I'm committed to that with her. Like, I believe that in her. But what inspired me is the possibility that can happen in a few short months or even a year. And so today, as she outlined the pulling back the curtain, what's allowed her to build their platform, I was blown away because the majority of them fell into one of these pillars or the foundation of the pillars. And so I am asking you guys on Facebook, on Instagram, everywhere. I want to be able to interview her and have her share some, but I'm so excited to bring to our community and to the platform tour, and obviously her community that's on YouTube right now. Rebecca Zung, welcome to the platform tour. Thank you for being with us today.
Hello, and thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here with you, Pete. I absolutely adore you and everything that you're up to, more because of the impact that you're making on the world and the amount of people that you reach and the difference that you're making in the lives of so many people through all of the speakers that you bring to the world.
Yeah. Well, I feel the same way about you. And I was very inspired by your story. And I just quickly got the download. I'm like, her story is so profound of what she's been able to do in a year. So before you pull back the curtain, and I'd love for you to, like, the things that you sent to me, I could show them to people. They're in alignment with these pillars that we're talking about. Like, what is it that's allowed you to be able to build a platform? Like, there's not just one thing, there's several things. And so I want you to pull back the curtain of your own here in a minute. But before we do that, why don't you share your story a little bit? Because I think your story is very much like a lot of people's story out there, and it's really powerful. So kind of your story of kind of moving into making that decision that I'm committed to building my platform.
Yeah, I mean, I had a very, very successful law practice, which I think a lot of people would be very fulfilled with. And I think there's a lot of people out there in the world who are maybe in a career that is great and fine, but maybe doesn't make their heart sing. Maybe it's just not the thing that that brings them joy, that they're passionate about. Maybe it did at one point, but it just doesn't anymore. And I really felt that as far as alignment with my soul and what I wanted to do, I felt like I had more in me, and that there was a way that I could touch people on a deeper level, on a bigger level, that there was something more that I wanted for myself. And I needed to be able to clear the space in order to be able to do that, because my practice was so big and so full that I just really had no space in order to do anything else. And so I decided to clear the space to do that. And so a few years ago, I made the decision to merge my practice with 2 other guys. And I'm still a partner at that firm today. I still remain a partner at that firm, but I needed to be able to have space to create. And that's what I did. And so by doing that, it gave me the space to write another book. And it also gave me the space to think about what I wanted to do next. And that gave me the space to learn how to do funnels and, learn how to do YouTube and think about where I wanted to take my message and what I wanted to do next. So that's what I did first.
Yeah. So take us behind the scenes. So you're now in the thinking process of saying, I want to go create something. I want to go create something. And everybody that's watching this live or watching the replay, I want you to see the process of this. Like, this process is simple. Not that it takes work. I don't want, like, it takes work, but it's simple, which is why I want you to really pay attention to this, because this is the foundation of what this entire tour is all about. But take us through the process. Take us through that process of you're starting to think, and help us understand, pull back the curtain of what you created and what were the key elements that you had to figure out in order to create that.
Yeah, so I knew I was an entrepreneur at heart. I mean, that was the one thing I figured out by building my law practice. I knew that I really am an entrepreneur at heart, and I knew I'm a creator at heart, and I knew I really wanted to help a lot of people. I knew I wanted to do something around negotiation. I've been teaching about negotiation for many, many years. I was a divorce lawyer. And so in order to build my law practice, I needed to come up with what I know now was a signature talk in Pete Vargas's words, but I didn't call it that at the time. But, to be able to go and speak to Rotary clubs and things like that, nobody wanted to hear about divorce. So I came up with a talk on negotiation. So I wrote a book on negotiation. Robert Shapiro wrote the foreword. So I thought I would maybe do something around negotiation. I happened to be listening to a podcast on entrepreneurs, heard a guy named Russell Brunson on the podcast, never heard of the guy ever. He goes, "I'll go get my free book." Didn't have any idea at the time that it was a funnel. I'm like, "Oh, this guy's giving away a free book. Sounds great. I'm going to go get the guy's free book." It happened to be a funnel. And in the book, he was talking about how, hey, if you have a skill, you can build these funnels, you can do these things. I thought, oh, I could totally do that. I could build these courses. So I really decided to dive in and do something like that. And so initially I thought I would do courses around negotiation, or maybe build courses around divorce. And so originally I built the Breaking Free Divorce Masterclasses. That was like my first foray into trying this out. And it wasn't until I actually realized that I was dealing with a couple of narcissists in my own life, one in sort of a business setting and one in our family, our extended family, not my husband, but some other people, that I decided to do a video on how to negotiate with a narcissist. And that was how I kind of started down that path of that particular niche. And then I really decided to dig in and do something with YouTube. And I knew I wanted to focus on the YouTube platform. I really did understand that YouTube is first and foremost a search engine and not just a social media tool, but a search engine. It's owned by Google. So I really knew that I wanted to learn about YouTube. And one of the things that I was very much committed to is really learning, not just dabbling in this. I very much made it my full-time job to really understand YouTube and to really understand funnels, lead pages, active campaign, every single thing about YouTube, every single thing about funnels, and I understand every single thing about the whole process of both. And I committed myself to having really, really quality products, quality videos, and understanding of, the niche that I decided to create my products in. You are on mute.
As you started to do that, your YouTube channel grew significantly. Like, I think it's 215,000, 17,000 people in there, like today. And I know we're going live in there. Is that right?
Yes, I think, as you know, it's 217,000. It grows quite a bit each day, so it's always different.
And literally, I'm correct, and I want to make sure I'm being accurate and everything. In your first year of really building your platform, focused on how to negotiate with a narcissist, which seems so micro niche, by the way, so micro niched. You were able to do 7 figures in like your first full year of doing that.
Yes. And it's an inexpensive product. I mean, it's, around $500. And I also do offer a payment plan. And for me, honestly, it's, it's like less than 1 hour of an attorney's time is what I say to people all the time. And I give so much value in the course. I mean, so much value. But, for me, what's more representative of it is the impact of how much, it can change people's lives. I mean, I am the only attorney on the planet that's really giving real resources for how to effectively negotiate and shift the dynamic for people in a negotiation setting, in dealing with toxic people. And to me, it's the impact on helping people, and really helping people who are in painful situations, dire situations, not just in personal situations, but business situations, any kind of situation where they're experiencing trauma or they're experiencing pain. That's really the payoff for me. And now, creating a nonprofit that's going to provide legal aid, that Lindsay Snyder and I, the owner of In and Out, are founding, like being able to use my platform for good. That's really the payoff for me. And using your platform to even increase my reach more, that like makes my heart sing.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And guys, I want y'all to see this. Like, I want you to see the power of what's going to happen in this next week for every single one of you. Like, even me, I'm multiple 8-figure organization, multiple 8 figures. And I'm on the journey to go to 9 figures. And there will be lessons that I learn next week, nuggets that I receive. I'm doing this for you, every one of you. There will be tens of thousands of people over the next week watching this. But I'm also doing it for me, because there are things that are stopping me from going to the next level. And there are things that are stopping you from going to the next level. And if you can understand this framework and simply walk away with one strategy in each of the 6, as well as the foundation, you will see an up leveling and you going to a whole different level. So I want to walk you through this really quickly with Rebecca here, because you can see how passionate she is in such a micro niche. So she's gotten really clear on the problem she's solving: narcissists and working with toxic people. Anybody out there right now on Facebook, Instagram, on YouTube, on Rebecca's channel and YouTube, any of y'all out there right now deal with toxic people? Like, anybody? If you do, put the word toxic, because I do.
It's like 16% of the population. So it's everybody.
Did you say 60 or 16?
16.
So a 1 in every 5 people at your dinner table, somebody's toxic at your dinner table. So now think about that. So she went out and carved a niche and got really clear on what she wanted to do. Now, for those of you out there that completely dismiss this and say, I'm already clear, guess what her and I have been having conversations about? And guess what she's in action with now? What's the next problem she's going to solve? And the next product suite that she's going to revolve around that product, like around that problem. So she's already in action around being clear on the next problem she wants to solve, because the first one is doing well, but now it's time to go to a different level. So even if you have this clear, like there are other problems that your community faces, and the clearer you can get on the problems your community faces, and you become the one-stop shop of where they go to as the resource for those, you can build the greatest platform that you want. The second thing, and she said this in the text to me, and she just didn't know we called it a signature talk, but she's gotten really solid at communication and connecting with her people. The greatest entrepreneurs, the greatest nonprofits, thought leaders, business leaders understand how to be a great communicator and a great connector. My friend Trent Shelton just interviewed me, and he basically said, you know, Pete, one of the biggest reasons why you have seen the things you've seen is because of your ability to connect. Well, it's not just my ability. Rebecca's ability to connect and to communicate was the second thing that she got really clear on as she was clear on who she wanted to serve. And I'm seeing the comments of what people are saying. They're saying life-changing. She's changed my life. She says, I mean, there's so many comments of what she has done. Thank you. I see all of you. Nikki, I see you. Yes, I love her. I love her. Like, love is not an easy word to toss around. She loves her because of the way that she's probably helped her. She's an angel in disguise. These are the words her community is saying right now. An angel in disguise. You want to know why? Because there's not enough people solving problems and connecting to solve problems or communicating to solve problems. Most of the world right now is communicating to talk about the problems. Man, if you catch that subtle shift today, it's going to change the game. We're all advocating for, like, I love what Rebecca said. She's like, my platform is for a purpose greater than myself. She is communicating to solve problems. So many people are just communicating to talk about problems with their platforms and make us fearful and scared and dissension. But the third thing she did is she developed a core product, $500 product. I do the math. That means she has thousands of customers. And by the way, she developed a product that next week I will be training on. How we helped Hal Elrod do this in one day. You will have the framework of how to create a digital product in one day. We actually did, in one day. Hal Elrod had been talking about creating a digital product for 5 years. And I said, dude, you're leaving so much impact and income on the table. You could be impacting your community with one digital product. I know, I've been saying I'm going to get it done. I was like, fly to my freaking studio, we'll get it done. And in one day, we got it done. Rebecca created a product, a digital product that thousands of people have now gone through, that she price juxtapositions. You can buy this product, which is equivalent to just 1 hour of my time. That's called price juxtaposition, by the way. Price juxtaposition. She just told you this, but I'm walking through the framework and I'm going to have her speak to it at the very end. She went and decided to build her own stage. YouTube. There will be probably thousands of people on YouTube that will watch this today, her own stage. And now she's making a conscious decision, especially coming into my world, where she's going to be on other people's stages. It's not either or. I believe you need both. And next week, you're going to hear from people who have built their own Instagram stage, their own YouTube stage, their own physical stage, their own virtual event stage. Like, you're going to hear about every type of own stage, but you're also going to hear about the dozen other people's stages you can be on. There's about a dozen different types here and a dozen different types here. She chose YouTube. You only have to choose one of your own. You can be on all of other people's, because the building of a stage takes a lot of time. The showing up for another person's stage doesn't take a lot of time. So next, that's what she did. She chose YouTube. And oh, by the way, as she's been on OPS, she told me this story. She said, Pete, as I was on an OPS, one OPS, thousands of new customers came for my book. Like I got thousands of customers from being on one OPS of another person's stage. Like that's the power of another person's stage. Let me tell you the fifth thing. She chose one solid sales and marketing strategy. She used the word funnel. A lot of you don't know what a funnel is. Some of you do. A lot of you do know what a funnel is. Next Saturday, everybody will know the simplicity, the most basic, simple funnels that any business owner should have up and running. We have somebody coming to speak on that topic. That is their genius. That's the only thing they will speak on. She decided on one sales and marketing strategy, which, by the way, was the strategy that got her to 7 figures. And then the final thing, and it's not the final thing. The final thing, she has went out and built a team of people to support her. She has went out and built partnerships. She's about to start a nonprofit with the CEO, the head person, the daughter of the founders of In-N-Out Burger. Freaking amazing. But the other thing I know true to be about her, she shortened the learning curve because she's invested in mentors. She shortened her learning curve. She was able to do in a year that would take some people 5 to 10 years to do. Many of you are still trying to crack the 7 million. Well, I almost said 7 million, the 7-figure mark. You want to know why? She made sure that other people helped her get there so she didn't have to do it on her own. That's how you scale. That's how you scale. And then if you know anything to be true about her, what I do know about her is she takes care of herself. One little comment she said to me that I cannot leave my thoughts unsupervised last week. I've been thinking about that all week long. Don't leave my thoughts unsupervised, because if they're unsupervised, they're going to control me and run me. And so she takes care of herself. This is the framework of her. She just shared all of that with you. I just wanted to go through it with you gradually. In her story, she just shared that. Rebecca, a couple of questions. What would you say, anything that you would respond to that? And then I'm going to ask you to give the entire audience some encouragement after this too. But what would you, anything that you would want to add or speak in addition to that?
Well, the thing that I always leave people with is that you and you alone define your value. I say this all the time when I am teaching people about negotiation. I mean, you and you alone define your value. And, you have to show up for yourself, and you have to decide what is going to be your thing for yourself. I mean, it's time. No one else is going to come knocking on your door and say, hey, it's time for you to show up for yourself. You have to make that decision for yourself. It's time. Now is always a good day. I always end my videos by saying, today is a great day to start negotiating your best life. Sometimes the first thing you have to start negotiating is the first thing in the morning is negotiating with yourself for your own self-worth, right? I mean, but you and you alone just decide and define your value. And today is the day. Don't let anyone else decide that for you. So, what Pete is offering you is an unbelievable opportunity to make this leap and take this, whatever it is that is your passion, and do it. So take this opportunity for yourself.
I feel called to, I'm going to ask you 2 more things. I feel called to ask you this next week is all about people's geniuses and strategies that they've used. So you talked about the whole strategy path, which none of our other speakers will get to do that. They'll get to talk about one thing, because if not, then people would have 250 different tools. And I want them to have a toolbox of 40 tools. What's one tip around your genius in negotiation that you would let us know about, of how we can do a better job of negotiating with ourselves? but also one tip that you would give us around how we can negotiate with toxic people in our life. I know that's tough, but like, what would you leave on both those sides? What would you say to both those sides? And then I have one more final question for you.
Well, I mean, definitely the not leaving your thoughts unsupervised thing. I mean, that's one of the things that I talk about for myself all the time is never leaving my thoughts unsupervised, because I for sure will am the first one to say that if I leave my thoughts unsupervised, they will go off into places that aren't necessarily healthy for myself sometimes. And so it's when I'm working, I will, I'm thinking about work and I'm doing what I need to do, and I'm fine. It's in those moments where I am not necessarily focused. So when I'm walking the dog, or I'm cooking dinner, or I'm brushing my teeth, or I'm walking around my house, or whatever, driving in the car, those are the times that I really need to make sure that I make sure that the input is good so that the output is good. So I listen to audiobooks, or I listen to podcasts, or I listen to YouTube videos, or whatever it is that I need to listen to, because even if I've heard the same thing 50 million times, sometimes I haven't heard it at that moment, or sometimes it hits me a different way, or sometimes I need to hear it at that time in my life, or whatever it is. But just make sure that you're keeping your vibrational energy high. Thoughts are energy, and we really, really need to make sure that we are monitoring them and keeping your vibrational energy high at all times. So
I,
that's something that's really, really important to me.
what's one tip you'd give with just negotiation? And I want them to go check you out, let everybody to go check out more about around her work with negotiation. And I think, yes, negotiation with narcissists and toxic people, but I think the bigger topic you'll find her moving into is just negotiation in general, because she's brilliant at it. But what's one piece of advice that you would give when we're working with difficult or toxic people?
Well, I mean, 99% of negotiation is your mindset, for sure. And people will think what you tell them to think. And that is the most important thing for you to remember. And not just in negotiation, but in anything in life. How you present yourself, how you communicate, and what people think of you is what you communicate yourself to be. So people will always think what you tell them to think. I mean, I used to realize that when I was in court, and how I presented myself to a judge, or how I presented myself to the other side. How you show up is so important. And if you are unsure of yourself, if you are apologetic for yourself, people will perceive that. I mean, the more confident person is always going to be the one who prevails in almost any situation. So practicing that and getting really good at that is so important. So just remember that people will think what you tell them to think.
Wow, I love it. I love it. Hey, last thing, to everybody that's building their platform, whether they're getting started, they're trying to grow it, or anywhere in between, what's the biggest encouragement that you would leave for them? Yes, in conjunction with next week, but just in general around your experience, because you've done something quite phenomenal in the last year.
I would just say, just get started, just do it, one step at a time. Don't think of it as like a big, huge task, just one step at a time, just like, even one micro step, every day, maybe just take, if you want to do something, just start to execute. The difference between people who actually get things done and not is execution. I really do think that consistent execution is the difference between people who are successful and the people who are not.
I love that. I love that. And where can people find more about you?
Well, obviously, they can check me out on YouTube. Go and subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com. And then it's Rebecca Zung, ESQ. I am on Instagram, Rebecca Zung. And, those are really the two main places. And I would be remiss if I didn't say that you could grab my free Crush My Negotiation prep worksheet at winmynegotiation.com.
I love that. I love that. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Rebecca on all channels out there. Give her some love. Give her some love. Rebecca, thank you for being with us today. I am so excited to be working with you and helping you take your platform to the next level. And I bet you there's going to be a few golden nuggets next week that you catch on to as well. So
thank you so much for having me. You totally rock.
Talk to you soon. Talk to you soon. Hey, everybody. So listen, this kind of winds it down today. Tomorrow, I'm excited because we're going to be talking about a thing that a lot of people are scared about, but also something that motivate people, which is money. And there is a massive comedy tour show going on right now with one of my good friends where he's talking about money. And this guy is brilliant with money, and he's going all around the country talking about the importance of money. You see, I want you to have lots of money because I want you to have lots of impact. I want your purpose of what's in your heart to grow significantly. And the way that grows is by having money. Money is not a bad thing. The love of money is the root of all evil, not money. It gets spinned. I'm not in love with money. I'm not, but I know the tool and the purpose of what money allows me to create in my own family with experiences, and what it allows me to create for my community, and what it allows me to create in giving back to charities and causes that matter to me. Money is an important tool and resource that allows us to do a whole lot more. And tomorrow, before we start getting into all of the nuts and bolts with 5 to 6 speakers a day next week, that's what it's going to get into. It's going to be pretty powerful. But I want to make sure that we get your money mindset in the right place, because the opportunity to be able to create what you want to create is going to become a reality in one short week. So I want to encourage you, if you're in Rebecca's group, make sure you go to joinrebeccazung.com and register for the platform tour. If you haven't registered, go to theplatformtour.com if you're in one of my communities, and make sure whatever you do, get registered for the VIP. Get registered for the VIP in the backstage. VIP gets you backstage every day and gets you access to all of the recordings of the entire platform tour. So tomorrow we'll be back at 2 o'clock Eastern with Garrett Gunderson. That's who will be with us tomorrow. And then remember, mark your calendar, October 11th through the 18th, 2 p.m. Eastern, every single day for a couple of hours. Block your calendar. And if you're working, block it in the evening, because you'll be able to get to watch the replay for 24 hours if you haven't bought access to the lifetime recordings of those. Remember, 100% of the profits go back to charity. I am committed to helping 1 million entrepreneurs, organizations, and individuals build their platforms so that they can control the microphone and change our world. And now you are one of those that we will be getting to do that with. And so I will see you guys back tomorrow. Have an incredible day. Drop some comments down below, and we will